There we go. So we are going live right now. This is definitely going to be an interesting match. Giggle is a very good player, and as we saw Team Context play earlier on, they did pretty decently as well. Pippy I haven't seen playing anytime at all, really. So I can't really say anything about him, but it definitely looks promising. Now all we have to do is actually wait for the players to choose their spawn locations, and we can see what will be going on. Now, as you can see, this is a melt planet, and depending on the spawn locations, some people might actually take control of a hemisphere, because all you can do to get land units from one hemisphere to the next one is transfer via these bridges. So taking control of these bridges is pretty vital to keep control of the planet. Now, obviously, if you can take the entire northern hemisphere and the middle hemisphere, then you are doing really well. But everything will depend on the spawn locations. Okay, so here we go. We have Team Context, who is spawning in one of their commanders right here, and he's actually relatively close to a commander of Pippy and Giggle. Now, for these two here, these bridges are going to be important, or these passages anyway, it's not really a bridge. So if they can lock these down, they can actually take control of quite a bit around this area and prevent the enemy from going in there. And looks like most of them spawn in this hemisphere. Again, if they can actually take control of this bridge or this bridge, they can lock down that portion of the planet, and they can go across these bridges to take control of quite a bit here as well. But in the completely northern hemisphere, we have this guy who is on his own for Pippy and Giggle. And that's something that you do want to have, because he's going to be pretty much uncontested for the early stages of the game. If he can actually lock this down or these down, then he can actually take even better control of this map. So it will definitely depend on how things go. So yeah, we have the bot factory with a pretty standard opener here, as well as an air factory for contacts. I'm gonna have to get used to these team names. And an air factory and a vehicle factory now going down as well. So we seem to be having mostly air first these matches. I assume that's mainly for scouting purposes and to shut down any bombing harassment that might be taking place. Bot's factory is producing Faber bots, then it's producing a Stinger, which is an AA bot, and then it's going back to fabrication bots. The Stinger will probably be there to serve as backup for the fabrication bot in case any bomber tries to swing by, so you can actually take that without too much of an issue. We now have bombers moving out here as well for Captain Conundrum. Probably gonna try and take down some of these fabrication vehicles that are traversing the map. Nothing much is going on, just mainly expanding. Although, curiously, this fabrication vehicle does not seem to be doing much of anything. It should be expanding the metal, but it does not seem to be moving. So maybe Context does not realize they should actually be moving that one around, or that it's even there to begin with. It seems to be moving now, so they probably realize they should be doing something with that. Metal spots are now being claimed by Pippy and Giggle. Same thing seems to be going on around this area. Looks like all the bases have been scouted. Let's actually check. Pippy and Giggle know about both bases in the southern hemisphere, and Context does not know about the base in the southern hemisphere, but does know about the base in the northern hemisphere, so they still have to find a second base. Now, acting appropriately, you see that these metal spots are being taken. I assume he's probably going to try and reinforce this later on. He's not doing that at the moment, but he does know about this base, so he should take some countermeasures against that. We now have Bot Factory coming. Did he just scout it? No, they still didn't scout it. So this bot factory is getting relatively close to the base here for Pippy and Giggle, but they don't seem to be realizing that that base is actually there. It's going to be interesting when they actually see that base. Another air factory is going down for contacts. Now we do have a number of hummingbirds actually maintaining the air superiority here. And we have fabrication bots claiming these metal spots right here. I assume that as soon as they realize that there's going to be a bot factory here, that they are going to try some turrets or something like the sort of that to actually shut this down. It's gonna be a while before they actually run into that, but eventually it should happen. We also have a turret to safeguard these two metal spots. Nothing in the way of defending those bridges just yet. Now, realizing that this base is probably not going to see any action anytime soon, it looks like they are building mainly the economy around this area, working on more energy, although the commander doesn't seem to be doing anything. I assume that he's stuck on a building or something like that. We have another vehicle factory, or advanced vehicle factory coming down here as well. So first advanced vehicle and advanced air factory. That will be the first advanced factories on this map. And it looks like these bots are trying to take control of this little area here. This bot seems to still be moving out and claiming the metal spots. The center map is pretty much open ground because there's no one there. And that seems to be where most of the metal spots are, so Team Pippy and Giggle realizing that and going out to claim these guys. There are bot factories being produced here as well for context, so I assume they're going to try and take control of the mill using those. Let's actually check the status. That's a regular bot factory. The advanced air factory is being rushed out. It's tanking the economy somewhat, but once those advanced fabrics get out, that's actually worth it. The advanced vehicle factory is probably going to take a little while longer to get up. Oh, this turret here took down a metal spot. It's a nice play there. Another turret came down here, another turret there. So any early boss harassment is probably going to run into those turrets, which is going to be annoying for Team Context. Ooh, it looks like the commander is going to war because the commander is moving right towards this little base here. Not sure if he's going to try and shut it down using the Uber cannon or something like that. But it looks like they do have the energy for quite a number of Uber cannon shots. So that's probably gonna be what's gonna happen. These dogs moving out, commander seems to notice now and is trying to intercept, but those bots are probably way too quick. He would be better off trying to shut down the factory here. And advanced vehicle factory is being rushed out somewhat more. The advanced air factory is now very near to completion, and that will be the first advanced factory that's up in this game. There's also an advanced air factory under construction for Pippy and Giggle, which they are now rushing out as well. Commander seems to now attack this base, and that will probably shut it down. Bots are attacking the commander, but yeah, he shot the Uber cannon, and that took out most of the base and those two guys that were attacking him. We also have some backup hummingbirds in case any aerial harassment tries to attack the commander, but that doesn't seem to be happening now. 3 bot factories down here as well, together with the original 2 factories. Let's actually see what happens with that advanced air factory. So we have advanced fabrics coming out of that one. No peregrines or castles just yet, but it's only going to be a matter of time before they start popping out. The situation for this base is probably going to be problematic because Context is now expanding towards this particular quarter of the planet, and I assume that they're going to try something along the line of pelters and laser turrets to get some building harassment going on. Commander is now moving out, so I'm not sure if that's for defensive purposes or if it is because he wants to get Commander off that quarter of the planet in case it goes down. Commander seems to be moving back now, so I assume it was just to try and deal with that harassment that was coming from those bots. We now have an advanced air factory coming down here on this quarter of the planet as well. Advanced air factory has finished on this particular quarter of the planet, and we have peregrines coming out. I assume some casuals will follow it up later on. They don't want to be giving away those guys just yet. The longer you can keep the fact that you have an advanced air factory hidden, the more time you have to build more casuals and the more effective they will be during their first attack, because there will be no AA up to deal with those. We have laser turrets being constructed and a defensive line that's going to be erected around this area. Commander is now definitely moving back. Another defensive line is being established here, and I assume that their pelter is going to be coming down here as well to try and harass these buildings and make sure that nothing moves through there. We have the first advanced, no, that's the second advanced power plant that's coming down for Team Texcon. Let's actually see what the compositions look like. So we have 13 factories for Texcon, we have 7 for Pippy and Giggle, but Pippy and Giggle have quite a number of fabbers, so even though they have less factories, they have more fabbers that can assist those factories, which means that the game is somewhat equal. Although Context does have more units, well, aggressive units than Pippy and Giggle. Pippy and Giggle only have like 1/4, well, about 1/4 that Context does. We now have the Pelter that's going to be coming down. It's probably going to take out this laser turret and its metal spot. This commander is still standing here, which is not the best way. You want a commander somewhere defensible in case something gets dropped on it. We have a number of docks moving towards this metal spot, and they are probably going to take it out. I mean, there's only a single laser turret there, which is probably not going to be enough to defend it, although they took out... yeah, they took out the Fabber first, which was building the advanced laser turret. The laser turret now is passing out because it doesn't know what to target first, and that means it takes quite a while to turn around and it's going to go down. We have additional laser turrets here already, so this is going to be another aggressive expansion, and that's going to be very problematic for this base later on, because Context seems to be encroaching on this territory and just inching closer and closer with those aggressive buildings. Advanced bot factory is now coming down. If he builds ghillies with those, the sniper bots, then it can probably counter what's coming his way with those buildings. But the real thing for Pippy and Giggle right now is that they have this base, which is going to be very useful later on in the game, because currently that's not seeing any action. It can just focus on eco as much as possible, while this base takes the brunt of the assault and actually distracts the two bases that are on this hemisphere. Some peregrines that moved by the advanced air factory, it probably shut down anything that could potentially be thrown at their team later on. We do have a radar here which sees pretty much everything that's going on. Peregrines making another flyby, taking out more peregrines. Air turrets are now shooting at them, but so far no casualties have been taken by those peregrines. More peregrines coming out here. Looks like the commander is going to be shutting down this particular expansion, aggressive expansion. This looks like a Raptor commander. And the advanced metal is now being produced, advanced energy is also being produced. So this base is looking to be in pretty phenomenal shape right now. Then again, their opponents are doing pretty decently as well. Although Pippy and Giggle are doing quite a bit better because the metal spots for Context are not too good. There's quite a bit more metal coming in for Pippy and Giggle right now, which is boosting their economy quite a bit more. Commander now took out this aggressive expansion, took down the Fabber that was moving in to try and get another one of those up. We have a number of docks now moving in, and there is nothing to deal with that, although considering the amount of Fabbers, yeah, they rush down a laser turret, which is what you should be doing if you know something like that is heading your way. These will take out a number of these power plants, but that's alright because advanced power has already been produced, so these are not really that important anymore. It's still useful to have them, but it's not the biggest priority. Another laser turret now coming down. They're probably going to try and assault the fabrication boss, but yeah, they now move in range of the laser turrets, and that's the end of that attack. Commander is now rallying a bunch of docks and stingers with him. I assume he's going to try and make something happen in combination with the commander. Although the commander does, yeah, the commander is moving with the army. So I think we will see a commander assault. Definitely something you don't see that often. A number of tanks now here trying to take control of the middle, but the middle is mostly dominated by black as far as things are going at the moment. So Pippy and Giggle doing pretty well economy wise. As you can see, Context is definitely struggling with their metal spots because they don't seem to be having enough of those. They are building advanced metal spots. Well, let's Pippy and Giggle read it. They are building advanced metal spots or not? No advanced metal spots in the main bases, which is something they definitely should be focusing on because they will really require those. Tacking on more power because they also have a power deficit. But the fact that their economy isn't stable is definitely going to be an issue. Factory-wise, they still have about twice the amount of factories, not quite, but very near to twice the amount of factories that Pippy and Giggle do, but they don't really seem to have the economy to support those, and Fabber-wise they only have a third of the Fabbers that Pippy and Giggle do. We do have the first Vanguards being produced. No advanced air has been produced here, so we won't see any drops right away. Oh, we have a nuke coming down for Pippy and Giggle. We'll just have to wait and see to know if that nuke will actually be launched this game, because previous game we saw a nuke being constructed as well, but that one never saw the light of day. So definitely gonna be interesting if that thing finishes. Quite a number of pelters being produced here, another pelter being produced here, but there are already pelters up for Pippy and Giggle, so I don't think this is going to be happening. Though if you micro that pelter, you want to be firing at the fabbers trying to construct it rather than the pelter itself. Which, yeah, that did just happen, and that took out that entire assault. Commander, ooh, this is dangerous. Commander is so very close to this base, building bot factories to try and take this off guard. I assume he's queued up some more. No, the Commander is moving in himself. Commander is now taking laser turret shots, using the Uber cannon to take it down. Power plant went down. And continuing to fire those Uber cannon shots. The Commander for Pippy and Giggle now moving in to actually deal with this. But there's quite a number of docks here as well, so I don't think it's the most advisable thing to be doing. Uber cannon shots coming down between the commanders. We have peregrines moving in to see what's exactly going on. I assume that commander is going to try and retreat. Oh, we have kestrels moving in. The kestrels are going to be the game changer here. Those guys are going to do phenomenal damage to this commander, and this commander, because it has no defenses near it, and those peregrines are taking anti-air shots. This is going to win this fight between commanders. So going aggressive with commander, definitely a high risk situation, and you don't want to be doing it lightly. Commander is now so very close, a few more shots and this would be the end of that commander, and the Uber cannon finishes him off. So that's the first commander down for Team Contacts, and this commander is now definitely going to be taking out anything else that's being thrown. Oh, more kestrels coming in to assault this commander, so we might see a second commander fatality in just a matter of minutes. There are some peregrines here, they are being sent out, but it might be too little too late. Commander is taking a... oh no, it was just in time. Commander is now about 1-8 health, is pretty much dead, but is still in this. I assume fabbers will be tossed on that commander to get it up to high health as soon as possible. Although it doesn't seem to be happening right away. Yes, a few of those stingers are still left. Ooh, we have a vanguard drop. We have a vanguard drop, and if they manage it well... oh no, the vanguards... the pelicans got shot down and the vanguards are not in range of the commander. They are trying to get towards it, but they won't be fast enough. They will be doing significant damage to these power plants, but that's not the thing you want to be doing. What you want to be doing is fighting that commander. And he's just pulling out because he can outkite this thing all freaking day. Final vanguard going for the rest of the power plants might take down this advanced bot factory if it gets close enough, although it takes a lot of damage from this laser tower. And yeah, it goes down before it can do any more damage. More kestrels moving in, but they are probably gonna get shut down, yeah, as they did. So this commander is still very much alive. Is not receiving repairs as of yet, which is something you do want to be doing if that commander took as many hits as it did. The nuke now for Pippy and Giggle very close to completion, about 3/4 done, and it's not going to be too long before it can get launched, and we don't see any anti-nukes in any base at the moment. So this is definitely going to be problematic for Team Contacts. The counter pelter assault is now going down. I don't think there will be any pelter play that is going to be going down there. More kestrels now moving in, but we do have peregrines to actually take this down without too much of an issue. And we have more peregrines here still, so I don't think there's going to be too much going on right away. Laser turrets now being rebuilt. We have ghillies coming out to take out any more units that might be sent their way. Ghillies are very useful against vanguards. I'll try it again. So ghillies are very useful against vanguards because they have range to outkite those all day, and they are actually quite quick as well. So using those... ooh, this commander now being attacked as well. Some kestrels moving in, taking out the base. I don't believe they realize the commander is there, because otherwise that would be the first thing you are going for. The eco damage that is being done here, wow. They took out the advanced power. There's only one advanced power plant left in this base. I don't think there's any advanced power left in the other base. Well, there's two left and the third under construction, but yeah, not too much power here for Contacts. We have even more kestrels and peregrines moving in, so they will take yet more of this base out, and it's starting to look very, very bleak for Team Contacts. We now have another advanced bot factory coming down. I assume this will be producing more ghillies. Oh, that was the nuke, and the GG is now coming down from Captain Conundrum. So Context very much realizing they are screwed, and here come the Kestrels to finish out the commander, which they do now. So that's the end of round 2, a very deserved win for Team Pippy and Giggle. Very good play here by Captain Conundrum and Taxman as well, but sadly they did not win this game. Because, well, Team Giggle and Pippy was slightly ahead of him, and that nuke really made the game change. I mean, he never got assaulted. I think the base got scouted. Yeah, they knew about his base, but they didn't know quite what was going on there. They never sent any scouts to actually check that out. And because they were so focused on the other base, they never realized they should have taken this one out as well.